at 9:17 a.m. Luna was born, but she didn't take a breath. They took her to the kind of kitchen area to try and resuscitate her. And at this point, I was in pure shock. I now have no baby. Like, what is going on? Where is she? I could just imagine like a scenario like One Born Every Minute, where they kind of bundle them up and they go, oh, that was such a close call, but you know, we've managed to revive her and everything's okay and she's all fine now. But it wasn't. I kind of had to go through the experience of dead quietness in my room while this woman is fully giving birth and hearing the baby cry. Something that I didn't get was really, really, really difficult. Everything about you as a parent, like that instinct of being with your child and protecting your child, has to go out the window for you to physically leave a hospital, leaving your baby behind. Within 3 weeks, I'm now picking songs for my baby's funeral. Wow, how on earth can people navigate this? Especially if they have other children, or what if they don't have any family? Like, how are they going to go home and go shopping to fill up their cupboards? And how are they going to process this trauma?
Before we continue, I would like to quickly talk to you about my Lean with Leanne fitness and health app. I created the Lean with Leanne app to help support women with their training and nutrition throughout every single chapter of their life. The app provides structured training plans for the gym or at home for women, including programs for hormonal balance, pre- and postnatal training, building confidence on the gym floor, and sustainable weight loss. Programs that work with female bodies, not against them. You get a fully personalised training and nutrition plan, as well as recipe ideas and a library of 20 to 30-minute on-demand fitness classes that you can do in the comfort of your own home. Some of your favourite workouts, such as Zumba, core conditioning, and more, making exercise not only accessible to everyone, but also enjoyable. So whether you're looking to finally lose weight while still enjoying a flexible, comfortable life, whether you want to build your confidence, rebuild your strength after having a baby, or simply feel confident in your own skin, then the Lean with Leanne app will provide you with everything in one place. And I am giving all podcast listeners an exclusive free trial to the Lean with Leanne app. So if you're interested, head to the link in the show notes to get your free trial now. Welcome to We Missed The Memo, the women's health podcast where we have real conversations with real women who share their real stories. We're also bringing you real advice and real solutions with no appointment necessary. But before we start, the podcast would not be here without you guys. So please make sure you like, subscribe, and leave us a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and you can watch us live on YouTube. Don't forget, you can also become part of our Patreon community as well, where we take the conversations a little deeper and we answer your personal questions. Today's episode is a very important conversation, but it's also a difficult one. We will be discussing baby loss, grief, and the reality many families face behind closed doors. So before we begin, please take care if this episode hits home for you. We talk about pregnancy mostly like it's all sunshine and baby showers, but what really happens when it doesn't look like that? Today, I am joined by the amazing founder of Luna's Fund, a charity supporting families through unimaginable grief and loss. So it is an absolute pleasure for me to welcome to the pod, Aimee Green.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming. I feel so underdressed. She's like a model.
Oh, stop.
Look at you.
It's from Primark.
I love that suit. You look insane.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for giving up your time and coming on the podcast today. It's such an important job that you're doing and it's unbelievable. I've got my tissues ready because I know I'm going to get emotional. I think in the history of the pod, I've only not cried in one episode. So here we go, buckle up kids. Please, can you give us just a little introduction into who you are and how this charity came to be?
Yes, so I'm Aimee, so I'm the founder of Luna's Fund, but I'm also Luna's mum. So Luna was my first baby. I was 23 years old and excited to be a young, fit, healthy mum. So I was very active in the gym before I kind of got into being pregnant and wanting a family. So it's always been something that's kept me like really motivated and disciplined. So when I was pregnant, I didn't really want anything to change. I wanted to stay really active. I wanted to go walking and I wanted to be in the gym lifting weights. And I did that throughout my entire pregnancy and I felt really good. Like some people say, oh, you know, when you have a little girl, like they take your beauty, they steal your beauty in your pregnancy. But I just did not feel that at all. I felt really well. And at 40 weeks, I was like, this baby needs to come out. She was so heavy. So I was in the gym, did my normal kind of workout, on an incline on the treadmill to finish, thinking like, come on, open the pelvis, like she needs to get going. And that night she actually started to come. So my waters broke at 10:30 watching I'm a Celebrity. And I'd actually planned for a home birth. So very much into hypnobirthing. My sister had home births before me, so it was quite kind of normal in my family. And I really wanted to like push myself. I know my body, I know my limits. And I did a lot of kind of antenatal classes and hypnotherapy beforehand to get into like the zone and understand what it meant to use your breath to kind of push the baby down. So I had a planned home birth and I had such an amazing experience. Even though the outcome wasn't what I expected, the pregnancy and the labour was so amazing. And I think she gave me that as something good to look back on when the outcome was so tragic. So I had a really normal 12-hour labour at home. And unfortunately at 9:17 a.m, Luna was born, but she didn't take a breath. So I was in the water kind of birthing pool. And when her head was crowning, I could feel like her hair, and they were saying like, come on, like, you know, one more push, like keep going, you're doing amazing. And I could just feel like she was stuck. It was really hard for me to explain, but I was like, she's stuck. And all I can describe it was like she was a bungee cord, like she was coming down so far and like going back up and coming down so far, but it didn't feel like she had enough to like really come down the birth canal and kind of be pushed out. So I think also like when it's your first baby, you have no idea what to expect either. And you're in labour land and everything as well. So I think the midwives were like, you know, you've got this, like you've got this on the next contraction. And honestly, I pushed with all of my might and she did come out, but unfortunately she kind of drifted to the other end of the pool and her umbilical cord had ruptured. So I had the placenta and the umbilical cord attached to me and she then floated to the other end of the pool. And at that point, her blood was lost in the pool. So the midwives took her out straight away and I could just tell there was something wrong. Like mother's instinct, I could just feel something was really wrong. They put her on my chest for literally 0.1 seconds, I think, just so I could touch her. And even in that moment, I could feel she was like jelly. She was like a jelly baby. She had no tone and like, it was just really not the feeling that I was expecting.
Yeah.
They took her to the kind of kitchen area to try and resuscitate her. And at this point, I was in pure shock. Like, I don't think I could even speak. I was just like shaking and they dragged me out of the pool and they started stitching me up. So I was always so scared, you know, in your pregnancy, you're thinking of like, what are you most worried about in birth? And I was always scared of tearing.
Yeah.
The most ridiculous thing out of what I've been through. I was always scared of tearing. And like this lady was stitching me up and I was just like so numb thinking like, what is going on? But I think they did it to make sure that I was okay of like infection stuff so that I could then go and look after Luna or be with her. And then, before I knew it, there was 4 midwives there. 2 were kind of just about to leave me before I was pushing and 2 were arriving to kind of take over the shift. And it was a pure fluke that there was 4 there at the time. So 2 were with Luna. I had another midwife supporting me. And then the other midwife was actually a student and she sorted all the ambulance, orchestrated everything. She was absolutely incredible. And that was it really. Luna went into an ambulance and that was it for probably 5-10 minutes before another ambulance came for us to take us. I had no idea what was going on. I didn't know kind of where she was or if she was going to be okay because it was a November morning, crisp morning, and it still kind of gets me now when it's a really sunny November morning. And she'd just been in water, so all I thought about was, oh my gosh, she's going to be so cold. Like she's gone from water straight outside. It was really, really cold. And I didn't know if like someone would like bundle her up or look after her. So it was a really weird experience, I think, also just as a new mum to be like, I now have no baby. Like, what is going on? Where is she?
Yeah.
We got taken straight to the hospital. And the midwife basically sat us down, had our hands and said that there was nothing they could do. And it was a really strange experience because on the way to the hospital, it's probably about 10 minutes from my house, I could just imagine like a scenario like One Born Every Minute, where they kind of bundle them up and they go, oh, that was such a close call, but, you know, we've managed to revive her and everything's okay and she's all fine now. And we all go, whew, that was a bit close.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. And it wasn't the outcome that I kind of hoped it was in the ambulance on the way. Just pure shock, I think. Even arriving at the hospital, like I had like this jumper or this towel over my head because the shame and like embarrassment I felt straight away was like, oh my God, please can no one see me? Like, what if someone asks me? Or like, I just didn't want to see anyone. And I literally just shut down and I don't think I even spoke. Like I really went into shock. And that was basically the day that Luna's Fund was also the idea that was created as well.
So the idea literally came to you as soon as you were given that news?
Yeah, so Luna's dad, he said at the time, this cannot happen to families. Like, we must be the only ones that this has happened to, like, A, in the whole world, and B, like, in the whole of the UK. Like, this is not normal. Like, what the hell has happened? Where has it gone so wrong? Like, how can families go through this? And as the hours went by and we got to meet Luna and we got to kind of have those experiences with seeing her for the first time and not knowing what she was going to look like. Like, I didn't know if I wanted to see her. And I was like, to the midwives, what do you think? Is she hurt? Have I hurt her? Like, have I damaged her? How does she look? And she said, she literally looks like she's sleeping. She is so beautiful. She looks like she's sleeping. I was like, okay, I trust you. And she was like, honestly, let me bring her into you now. Like, you will love her. She's amazing. And I was like, okay. And honestly, everything just went like, it was like I was in a film where everything just came back in colour again. When I was with her, I was like, she literally is just perfect. Like, I actually did my job. Because the first thing I thought was like, why can I not get over the finish line when every other person can?
Yeah.
I literally thought I was the only person who'd been through baby loss. And I felt like something was really wrong with me. So when she brought her out and she was like perfectly formed and really chubby, full-term cheeks and long nails, I thought, oh wow, like I actually have done, you know, my duty as a mum and created her well. But why could I not get her here safely? And I had this real, God, for years, this real internal struggle with guilt. And yeah, seeing her was just the most amazing experience ever. And it was only for probably 10 hours, and then she started to deteriorate and change. Yeah. And then I didn't want to see her. Yeah. It was hard to
She was like
say
the
out
perfect
loud.
little angel baby.
Yeah, she was amazing.
What do you remember most vividly about that whole moment, that whole day?
Real chaos, to be honest. At the time I was in a room with in an adjoining room, with somebody else giving birth. So this was, we're talking like 8.5 years ago when bereavement rooms weren't what they are now.
Yeah.
And I kind of had to go through the experience of dead quietness in my room while this woman is fully giving birth, and hearing the baby cry. Something that I didn't get was really, really, really difficult. And I just remember so many people coming in and out of our room. We had people in there demanding that we have a post-mortem. What is that? I'm a 23-year-old first-time mum. What the hell is that? That's something from like CSI. Yeah. Like a murder investigation. Like, what does that even mean? We had people coming in, like this lovely, poor, like lovely healthcare assistant. You know, did you want any toast? And I'm just looking at her like, oh God.
Yeah, that's the last thing.
It's the last thing I'm thinking of right now. But she didn't know whether to come in or not. And then there was like the midwives obviously coming in to check on me and checking on, you know, then our family came. And honestly, it was just the most chaotic, really, really traumatic experience.
I guess, I mean, we say 8 years ago, that's not really that long ago, is it? And you're put in a situation that you definitely shouldn't be in, where you've just lost the baby you've given birth to and you're hearing someone next to you give birth. That is horrendous. I think now it has changed. Have you seen that that's changed now within the hospitals?
Yeah, I do, definitely. And I think that's been one of the most kind of passionate things that I've had, is that is not good enough. Yeah. And it's actually one of the reasons why I wanted to have a home birth, to be totally honest. Yeah. I don't like hospital environments. I think they're very backwards and things. And I didn't like the idea of having to be in hospital and potentially having like people intervene and things unnecessarily. So for me to then be you know, within 24 hours back in hospital in a place that I don't like, it's too clinical. I don't feel safe. I don't feel supported. I want to be at home. Yeah. That's where I feel safe. And not being able to kind of have that really nice experience was really difficult. But from kind of feedback from us and lots of other parents, that hospital has obviously done amazing now with having its own bereavement suite, and so have other trusts as well. And I have to make it really clear, like, there has been such a shift in the 8 years that I've known through like kind of advocating for families and championing better bereavement care. The trusts are, and I think also like a shift in the movement of the baby loss community as well. Like, there is more awareness around it now, and it's not good enough to be kind of on a hospital bed and, you know, your partner being on a camp bed for a night. And it just, you need to be together and you need to be able to share that experience together. And I'm just so pleased to see like the progress that has already happened in 8 years, but also there is still so much to do.
Yeah. You then have to leave the hospital and you go home and you don't have your baby. What are those first few days and hours like for you and your partner?
It's really funny when you say that, because I get chills even thinking about it, and having to make that decision, and having to, I think, to even re-enter your home like empty-handed. And that was the hardest thing. And as Luna deteriorated, we knew that we didn't want to see her again the next morning, which also comes with lots of guilt of, why would you not want to see your own child? But I didn't want that last vivid memory to be of her looking different to how she actually was as a baby. So we made the decision to leave the following morning. And everything about you as a parent, like that instinct of being with your child and protecting your child, has to go out the window for you to physically leave a hospital, leaving your baby behind. It's the most insane feeling. And it was also surreal how, like, 48 hours before that, I was fully pregnant, had an amazing gym session, everything was ready at home, I'd nested, I was on maternity leave, my life was literally about to start. And then within 48 hours, I was in a car being driven home, looking out the window at people like dancing in their cars, and, you know, like on the phone to their partners and stuff, and saying that they're on the way home for tea. And my whole world in the car next to them had completely changed. You know, it had completely broken and turned my world upside down. So I think it gave me a really, really good perspective at that time of just being kind to people. You don't know what's going on in someone else's car and in someone else's life. And then physically getting home, having that empty car seat, you know, ready and waiting to go, and it not being used, going to the house that was pure carnage, you know, from when we all left the state of it. Luckily, my sister had actually gone in with a midwife and blitzed my house.
Cleared it all out.
Yeah, they were amazing. And it just felt so cold. Like, I can't explain it. Like, the energy felt so cold. And so, yeah, it just felt horrendous. And I genuinely did not know in that moment how on earth I was going to get through to tomorrow.
Yeah. And you've got a house full of 9 months worth of love and excitement and anticipation, and just within seconds, it's completely stolen from you. Yeah, it's horrendous.
And going upstairs as well, I think even going to the nursery, like, I felt like I had to go into her bedroom just to kind of feel it. And it was really weird, because I kind of got this like warm sensation of going in the bedroom, but like just looking around, there was cards from my work that sent me on my way on my, you know, on my maternity leave, and there was like baby shower gifts that people have bought, and the cot is all ready, the clothes are all washed, the nappies are there. And it just made me feel like, what the hell do I do with all of this? Like, it's actually quite embarrassing. Like, people have done all of this for me, and now I can't even, like, I don't know what to do with this stuff, and I can't even acknowledge the fact that she's not here. Like, how do I even tell people?
Yeah, because then you've got a whole different story that you've got to vocalize to everyone. And not only is it traumatizing, but then you have your own worries that what people are going to think and why has this happened. Was there some sort of investigation into what had gone wrong and what had happened?
So we were kind of poked and prodded about doing a post-mortem, and Luna's dad and I were both in agreement that we weren't going to do that. For us, we knew it was an umbilical cord issue and like a placenta issue. So yeah, we had our placenta sent away to Bristol. They did tests on it, and it still came back inconclusive, which a lot of families will have those same answers.
Yeah.
If they can't specifically identify something 100%, such as genetical or a strand of, you know, something, or DNA, that there is literally nothing they can put on paper to say that is what's happened. So quite a lot of people have inconclusive results. We didn't feel like we needed a full post-mortem because she was formed so well and she was so healthy, and I could totally see that.
Yeah.
But the placenta was really, really small. And when I was explaining about when I was pushing her and it felt like she was stuck, like her umbilical cord was like 15 centimeters.
Right.
Like, it was really, really small. It was really short, and it was really calcified. So it was really white and like jelly-like, as if it was dying. And it really upset me, because the report came back and said it identifies as like a smoker's placenta.
Okay.
And this is someone who like never smokes, you know, rarely drinks, especially not being pregnant, and goes to the gym, really healthy, really active. And I just felt like another sting of like, why am I so bad at this? Like, what the hell has my body done? Or I've done this so wrong. And then they also realised that I had one, it was like one artery rather than two in the umbilical cord, which was like a problem with blood flow.
Okay.
So this was detected halfway through, I think around like 20 weeks on the scan, which they said that it would be linked with her being like smaller, having like low growth. So we had growth scans as well, but nothing else was really detected. So as long as the baby is growing, the placenta is,
Doing its
presumed
job.
to be working
Yeah.
well. But that wasn't the case. And basically it was a pure miracle how the hell she lasted till 40 weeks, because that could have gone wrong so much sooner. And then I think, fought for that internal battle of, if I had a planned C-section, would this have happened? If I was in hospital, would this have happened? And that was the crux of what I needed someone to answer for me. Like, was it my fault that I wanted a home birth? And thankfully, no, it wasn't. And I was really I think relieved to kind of have some form of medical validation that wasn't the reason why. And also, I'd never been offered a C-section for a first baby, being a young, healthy mum who didn't want a C-section. So, it took a while to kind of get to terms with that. But I was kind of pleased to have some form of answers.
Yeah. So would you say your experience of the whole healthcare system behind what you went through was a positive one?
Yes, I would. I say this difficultly because I have such a good relationship with them now. And if I had Luna now, I know that the system would work so much better than what it did 8 years ago. So I kind of can't take away from them of how much they supported me. I mean, the midwives were absolutely phenomenal, for example, incredible. However, going to what is called a sad loss appointment 6 weeks later to find out what's gone wrong with your baby when you're sat beside massively heavily pregnant women and their partners with their lovely bump and their packs and of all their notes and things, was torture. It was like, who the hell has thought this is a good idea to put me here? Who the hell thought it was a good idea to put me next to someone who's giving birth? Like, that is actually so unfair and more traumatizing than just leaving me at home and I'll come and visit Luna at a separate opportunity. So it's hard for me to answer, but I would say yes, because I do think positively they did well. But they could have been so much better. Yeah.
I think like the people that do the work in the system are amazing, aren't they? And they only want the best, but the system itself sometimes is not great.
Yeah.
I had a molar pregnancy coming up for 3 years ago this August, and I was in the same situation. Obviously, I didn't give birth. I needed surgery to remove my molar pregnancy. But once I was okay to go back home, I had to walk through maternity to leave. And as I'm walking out, a mum and dad have their newborn baby in a car seat going home, and it just makes the whole experience even more devastating.
Yeah.
So it is something that definitely needs to be addressed. Do you feel like there was any support missing, or after that, were they really good at following up, checking your mental health and everything?
So this is why Luna's Fund was created.
Here we go.
So obviously the midwives can do what they can do. And then there is a point where you have to get on with it. You have to be discharged from the hospital, like kind of physically. I had my physical checks and, within 6 weeks I was physically well. And that was it, So there was a lovely memory box that was donated from another charity that we received when we left the day we met Luna. And there was a lot of helplines, and there was, kind of local, like kind of counselling and things. But there was nothing really practical or like physical where someone would be like, hi, I'm this person. This is what we do. This is how we're going to help. This is what you're going to expect. And I'm here with you to walk that journey. And Luna's Fund was created from being in that hospital and thinking, wow, how on earth can people navigate this, especially if they have other children, or what if they don't have any family? Like, how are they going to go home and go shopping to fill up their cupboards, and how are they going to process this trauma? So it was a real eye-opener of what was so lacking, that Luna's Fund could then fill that void through lived experience. And for us, based on personal experience, we had good family who could go shopping and leave bits on our doorstep and kind of make us eat, have a croissant, have some toast, like just keep eating and fuel that body, because grief takes so much energy from you. As well as, we saved money when I was on maternity leave for this exact reason, and we just blew on a holiday. We just went to Cyprus after Luna's funeral. Something to look forward to, like, funeral planning, like what the hell, like within 3 weeks I'm now picking songs for my baby's funeral. Like, I haven't even got married yet. I haven't even picked songs for my own wedding. Like, how is this normal? This is not okay. And also, how am I doing this by myself?
Yeah.
Like, I'm 23. I have a fantastic support. But my friends at the time, you know, they were still like going out and they weren't really in serious relationships. I was kind of the first of my group of friends to kind of settle down and want this lifestyle. So I did feel quite alone in that sense as well. So Luna's Fund was the chance for us to fill that real need when clinical care has to stop, because it does have to stop. But then some form of kind of holistic and supportive care needs to start from then on.
Yeah. And, you know, a lot of people might say that's the more important bit. You know, the body is great at recovering. It's the mind and your soul that is destroyed. And that is the thing that, you know, needs the support. What does support for a grieving family look like from Luna's Fund?
So it varies. Every family is unique and every family has different needs. I think that's really important because it never is a one fits all. And that's what we're really good at. We're really good at being able to get to know the family and get to know what they need. So for us, it's practical support. So relaxing getaways is our most predominant service. Sending families away free of charge to a hotel, a spa hotel, a log cabin, a destination where they can relax and recuperate and just escape. You know, being at home is hard. There's reminders everywhere. There's triggers, there's needs. You know, if you have children, you have to get them to school and nursery. You have to make packed lunches. You have to go food shopping. Taking those pressures away for a weekend just gives families the time to process what's happened and also have some form of hope for the future. Because when I used to fall asleep, knowing I was going on holiday after Luna's funeral, it kind of made me feel like, right, I can do this. I can do another 8 days and I'll be on holiday. And it helped me get through. And we wanted to give that to families, to give them that opportunity. And the second one of our services is food shop and deliveries. So we do these in Plymouth at the moment. And it's really for families who have got children. And it just takes that mental load away from them of having to do food shopping. I mean, I hate food shopping the best of times.
Yeah.
And I'm feeling good now, you know, I'm mentally good now, let alone when you're in your real darkest times. And just promoting them to eat, you know, you do deserve to, you know, have some meals, just shove it in the oven. We have nursery redecoration as well, which is one of our services. This one isn't used as much, but we're looking at incorporating this into more like pregnancy after loss support. But this is for families and more so dads as well who need that physical support, like Luna's nursery. Someone needs to take down the cot, someone needs to pack away the clothes. I kept some of them. I gave some to charity. I didn't know what to do with them. Like, I didn't want them to be like a bad omen. And I didn't want, you know, friends, family not to have them because they felt like it was going to happen to them or someone in their family. So I held on to those, you know, for a very long time. But I needed someone ideally to come in and be like, right, let me sit with you. Where did you buy this from? And who gave you this gift? And kind of go through those lovely memories with me. And that's what we can do as a charity is send in painters and decorators and men to kind of physically put down the cot, and women to repaint, but also to emotionally go through the nesting bits and pieces that you've bought for your baby. And then our newest kind of project is pregnancy after loss. So 2 years after I had Luna, I was pregnant with my son's story. And God, that was a challenge and a half. So what we learned from that is that we needed private scans every 4 weeks to kind of just make mini milestones throughout that 9-month pregnancy. And it just gave us some hope in between NHS scans and control that we can see him whenever we need to see him. And also to learn that he was a him. You know, I wanted a girl and I looked at the screen and saw a willy and I was like, oh my God, what the hell do I do with a willy? Like, he's going to like dinosaurs and diggers and I'm really girly and I had a girl and now I don't have a girl but I love him but I don't know what to do with him. And
such an emotional,
it was a really, really
rollercoaster.
complex time. Yeah. And pregnancy after loss is a minefield. So we really do walk with families through that journey, you know, as they leave hospital, as they funeral plan, as they return to work, as they navigate relationships, as they go on to have more children. We are there for the whole journey.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. I'm trying not to get...
Use your tissue if you need it.
I know. Sorry, I just need...
Oh.
Sorry.
No, don't be sorry. Emotions are good. Let it out.
You just can't imagine having to take a nursery down. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's just horrendous.
Yeah. It is. It really is. And some companies are so amazing. And I know mamas and papas, I'm going to give them a huge shout out because, you know, we've had a lot of families who get stuff from them and they ring up, you know, or a family member rings up and says like, you know, this has happened, and they will send someone out and come and take it all from them and refund them fully.
That is amazing.
It's amazing to know that there's businesses, give me chills. It's amazing to know there's businesses out there who do that.
Yeah.
And it is, you're right, it's that practical element that people see baby loss and think, oh, bless them. But they have no idea about the practical elements and the strength you need to have to actually overcome these practical problems.
I mean, in that time of grief and need, to have some support system like Luna's Fund to just come in and go, right, we're going to take this over for you. You don't have to worry about it. But also almost turn it into like a positive experience, you know, not that it's all horrible to take it down, but let's process this, let's use it as a tool to think about your angel baby and to help someone else maybe by giving it to charity. I think that is such a lovely thing and such a positive way to process some of the grief. What inspired you personally to turn this experience into something that can help so many people?
I always say it's pure fluke, and it genuinely was. Like, for me, it was a passion project that I could pour my heart and soul into while I was on maternity leave without a baby. You know, I had loads of time, I had loads of thoughts. I wanted to be a mum, but I didn't know how to be a mum because I had no physical purpose of doing night feeds and changing a nappy. So Luna's Fund was literally my baby, where I could go and do her website and I could make her a logo, and it was my way of being a mum. And I genuinely had no idea that A, it happened to so many people, and B, it would be so needed in the Southwest. So when I say it was a bit of a fluke, it genuinely was just an outlet for me personally to have something to kind of channel my energy and my love into.
Yeah, I know.
Which is beautiful that it's obviously transpired into something. So
I know whenever I've gone through a hard time and people say everything happens for a reason, or the universe
hate that
gives,
quote.
I literally hate it. I feel like I want to punch you in the throat. But in these moments, sometimes you kind of think, you were meant to do this.
Yeah, so totally different way of phrasing it is that some people will say like, oh, you know, it all happens for a reason. And you don't want to hear that when your baby has died. So full stop, do not say that to anyone because it's not the right thing to say. However, what I can say now, looking back after 8 years, is that she was sent to me to do exactly what I do. And I never wanted her life to be for no reason. Like I wanted her to have a purpose and a legacy. And every kind of grieving parent and bereaved parent you talk to want to talk about their baby. They want to share their birth. They want to share their pregnancy. They want to share the little quirks about their babies. They have memories with them. And we're just processing them and enjoying parenthood in a totally different way through the means that we have to, because we have no other choice.
Yeah.
And Luna's Fund was that opportunity for me to create a legacy for Luna in a way that I knew that she was sent to me now to help so many more people. Like, I feel like she's done more by not being here than if she was here. If she was here, she'd be like another child. Yeah. But her not being here has meant more to the world.
It's an incredible way to kind of flip the narrative of grief in your mind, that, you know, this gorgeous angel girl has impacted so many lives in such a positive way that it, like you say, it's like the best legacy she could ever leave. Can you share like any particular moment that stands out for you where you have come away from a family or a situation and thought, wow, you know, we have really, really helped these people?
Oh, I'm smiling because I've got so many.
Too many stories.
I have got so many. And it's really funny because we get really deep with families really quickly. I think it's because, like myself and the team, we have lived experience. We can relate straight away. The families don't even need to communicate how they're feeling. We know how they're feeling. We physically have sat in the grief that they are in. So we know roughly what's going on in their mind. But there are a couple that stand out to me where I've just felt so immensely close to them. And I think the best part of the journey and the kind of the job I'm in, I can't really call it a job, it's literally like a life's purpose, I literally love it, is that when I literally see them sat on our sofa in the office, holding their hand, crying, we are going through it all together, and seeing the journey over 2 or 3 years of them really rebuilding their lives and then going on to have their rainbow baby after. Like, it has been the most amazing privilege to kind of know they were peed on a stick, and we were the first people to be told.
Aww.
And then they're in my arms and I'm like, oh my God, I literally knew about you, and I knew about your brother or your sister, you know, your angel brother or sister, and your mum and dad have done so amazing of getting to where they have. Like, you have no idea how special you are and how much joy you're going to bring to your parents and your family. And that is just the most like rewarding, money cannot buy feeling. Yeah,
I totally agree.
So special.
As a personal trainer, I tend to be one of the first people that know if a client's pregnant, obviously for safety reasons.
Your privilege.
Yeah, and a lot of my girls have been on the same journey. So when I then maybe get to train them through pregnancy after that, I get so emotional. They hate it. They're like, oh, you're crying again. And I'm like, I know, I'm just really proud and it's amazing. So it does feel like such a privilege when you're part of that story and you're having such an effect on their life and their baby's life. So it's so lush. It's so lush to hear. Luna's Fund is a local charity supporting parents in Devon and Cornwall. How important is it that the community get behind Luna's Fund and support you guys?
So this is crucial, to be totally honest. I didn't know anything about charities when I started the charity. You know, I totally winged it. I had to look at all the legislation. I had to apply to be a registered charity. I had to learn how to run a charity. No idea what a trustee was before I even started the charity. So for me, it has been a huge learning on the job, kind of 8-year journey. So the community aspect has been the most amazing outcome of something that I didn't even consider at the beginning. You know, for me, it was helping the family, helping the next family, helping the next family, then realizing, oh, those 3 families would get on really well. Let me connect them all together. And then I can be the missing piece between bringing them all together. And then we've kind of built these communities, you know, in Plymouth, in Cornwall, just starting our new community in Torbay, and then by the end of the year, Exeter community. But we are one big Baby Loss Southwest community, which I'm extremely proud of. And the only way that we can kind of support each other is with the wider local community. So their friends and families, their local shops, corporate companies, with everyone kind of working together and doing a little bit. Honestly, the amount of impact that has is so hard for me to describe. And I've seen the most generosity from all types of people. You know, people have got their last pound to give before payday will give it to us at our stall. You know, so amazing, so heartfelt. Schools, you know, getting behind of, you know, the siblings who have been affected, schools getting behind the siblings. Really big corporate companies, we've supported one of their colleagues, Devon and Cornwall Police, we've supported a lot of dads. So we really have had an array of, you know, kind of walks of life and different size businesses who have supported. But I think the community aspect of being able to go places and, you know, do a stall in Tesco or Sainsbury's or Asda, and people coming up to us and saying like, oh, what you're doing is amazing, and you've helped this person who I know, and there was a friend at school who I saw on Facebook, I recommended you guys. That is what makes it so special, I think. And that's what I love about the charity is that, yes, there's always pressures on me to make sure that I bring in more, to make sure I can help more families. But the community aspect is literally the best part of it. And being genuinely together and helping each other, especially in a world where, you know, there's robots and AI and digital and everyone's online, like being face to face and having that human connection is, I think people crave it more than ever. And I absolutely love it.
And there is nothing more powerful than being able to discuss what you've gone through with someone who knows exactly how it feels. I don't think there's anything that matches that. You mentioned about building a community in Torbay. What is that looking like? Because we need to get everyone on board, guys. Come on, we need all the businesses to get on board. We need to get some sponsorships. We need to get some services. So tell us, we're going to sort it.
Brilliant. So 6 weeks ago, we expanded to Torbay Hospital. We've had feedback from Torbay for probably 2 or 3 years now of like, we need you in Torbay. Like, when are you coming to Torbay? We know the amazing work you're doing in Plymouth, but we need you closer, you know, further into Devon and closer to us. So we have been working, like, you know, behind the scenes with the trustees and really trying to work out more of a strategic plan of how we can expand sustainably to make sure that obviously we don't go, you know, running too fast and then we have to like kind of scale back. So it has taken a couple of years for us to get here, but we are here now. So we have a referral system with the hospital.
Amazing news.
Which is fantastic. So we've met all the staff. They are absolutely lovely. We've seen the beautiful meadow suite and it's just perfect for families. And it's really, I think it's really inspiring and comforting to see how much, like from our beginning of our conversation, just how much change has happened in 8 years. And how I think the hospitals are now wanting our support rather than kind of gatekeeping our support, because we don't want it to be kind of a challenge. We want to work together because we're helping the same people. And that then just spreads out into the community. So what we're looking at is we want to really start our wellbeing events from towards the end of the year and the start of next year. So we're starting to get referrals through, and we usually give it a good kind of 9 to 12 months for families to kind of start coming through, get a few of the numbers up, and then we can start kind of being Tinder. We make families together. Oh, you'll get on with this family really well. You've had a twin loss. Oh my God, this family has two. They live in Paynton. Oh, they live in Torquay. Oh, brilliant. They're 15 minutes away. So that for us is what we're really good at. And also creating smaller events for specific beneficiaries. So dads only, couples only, adults only, siblings, family days, rainbow baby walks. And it's so rewarding to see those connections go on long after you've supported them.
Yeah.
We've got families from when we expanded to Cornwall 2 years ago who do things now together, and we're not part of that now.
Yeah.
They are just friends who have Chinese together, and it's wow, we did that.
Yeah, you facilitated that.
It's amazing. But we didn't do that. They did that themselves because they reached out and they kept that relationship going. But we kind of did that to push them together. And that's when it's really, really special. So for us, I think it's first get into Torbay, embed ourselves, get known in the area so that people can refer to us.
Yeah.
If you know of anyone who's had a loss, a stillbirth or a neonatal loss, get them to refer to us, let us help them. And then the community just naturally, organically grows over time.
Right, we are organising a rainbow baby walk.
Perfect.
We're doing it around the bay. There's so many lush places we can walk.
Love to.
I'll get all the girls together. We'll do it. Let's do it.
We're
going to do it. And if you have a local business, please try and get involved. How can a local business support Luna's fund?
Mm-hmm. Really good question. As many ways as possible, from things that are free, so sharing us on your social media, having a charity pot in your shop or your cafe or your salon, just to have that awareness, that conversation starter. We've got little leaflets and awareness cards. It's all very positive as well. I really want to make that clear. It's not it's a heavy emotive topic, but we are not heavy emotive people. We want it to be really light, really positive, installing hope and inspiration into people. And our values embed that, we are, the ethos of Luna's Fund is all about hope and positivity. And we want to align with local businesses who share that as well and who want to help. So they can get in touch with us and, they can create their own event if they wanted to do a Wear Purple Day, for example, to raise awareness. We've got different things for corporate companies as well. We've got a fundraising pack, which has got loads of ideas in there as well. Basically just get in touch and we can kind of
amazing
support in any way possible.
Could a local business sponsor?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
We've got to get some sponsors then, guys.
I have a corporate sponsorship partner guide, which has got everything from donating, kind of sponsoring videos, so we like to share family stories as well, and raise awareness of those, and getting sponsorship to sponsor a family, or sponsoring 3 private antenatal scans for a family.
Amazing.
Sponsoring just gift packs, so that we send out a gift pack with every family. They're about £100. We do family days, they're about £1,000. So we do so much, and it's such a variety of kind of prices and stuff as well.
I love this. When you're supporting a family who go on to have another pregnancy, you mentioned about scans. Do you work with particular local private scan places that offer that service for you?
Yes, we do. Yes. So we work with Baby Bond in Plymouth and Exeter. We work with Bloom Ultrasound as well. Shout out to the local girlies.
Yeah, they're going to be coming on the pod soon.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. We work with the Baby Scan Studio, which is in Truro, and we have a meeting next week with Window to the Womb in Plymouth as well.
Amazing.
So what we find is some families had private scans when they had their angel baby. So they didn't know anything was wrong. They had private scans at Baby Bond, for example. And then obviously they've had sad news and they don't want to go back there when they have their second baby. So we're looking at kind of introducing more scanning centres, in the sense that you can choose to go to a different one and not miss out on that experience just because you had a bad time at that scanning centre.
And I think more of them now are popping up, aren't they? Bloom, for example, is fairly new, and it's really nice that there is somewhere on everyone who lives in Paynton and Torbay's doorstep that they can just access, contact them on social media. They're amazing. So I do think if we can get as many of them on board to help out, it would be incredible. If someone's listening and has a friend or a family member going through loss, what would you advise them is the most important way they can support them?
Really, really good question. And it is really hard to gauge because, again, there's no one fits all answer. But for me personally, I would just be there. And it's really hard to say that. So not in the sense of like physically sat on their sofa, but checking in, just checking in. Even if you don't get a response, just checking in, thinking of you. That is all it needs to be. It doesn't need to be kind of asking questions. You don't need to fix anything. You just need to sit in the mud with them when they're in the mud. They will come to you in their own time, and don't take anything personally. So if they are ignoring you, you know, it's not because it's you, it's because they literally cannot think about the next minute of their life. Sometimes messages and things can be really overwhelming. You feel like you don't know what to say to people, because I'd have friends say, oh no, hey, how are you? And I wanted to write an essay, like, I feel like I want to jump off a bridge right now. Yeah. However, I can't. And I just replied saying, yeah, I'm doing okay. Like, I couldn't go into depth of how I felt. So kind of don't take things personally if things are one-worded answers or you don't get a reply, but just don't give up. Just don't give up on them, because there's like a grief trajectory, and the first point of grief is actually, it's not too bad. Yes, you're in a dip, but it's not too bad because you have so many friends and family around you. Yeah. You've got support. You've got people potentially taking your kids to school and helping you out. You're on maternity leave, partner's on paternity or compassionate or sick leave. You're at home together. You have support. The hardest bit is when you've had the funeral. In those kind of first 6 weeks, you've had the funeral, and then everyone kind of thinks like that's the end, when actually that's the beginning. Yeah. That is the real beginning, when you have nothing to plan, no purpose, no one coming around. The midwives have kind of discharged you. That's usually when we are like on top form of like, we are here now to take them from there. But that's when they need support. That's when they need understanding. And you might misunderstand how they feel. So I was really complex in the sense that like one day I'd feel okay. I was numb, but I'd be like, okay, and I could probably put some makeup on. The next day I literally couldn't even get out of bed and like do anything. So I couldn't explain how I felt because I was so up and down that I kind of felt like, oh, actually I don't want to be a burden to anyone, so I just won't reply. Yeah. If you're saying you're going to do something, just do it. So if you're going to leave food, don't be like, oh, hey, I'll come around at 2. Just put it on the doorstep, text say it's outside and go. Yeah. Like, don't be too like, you don't want to make one more decision. So when you're grieving, your brain is at full capacity. Even someone saying, oh, which hairbrush do you want to use? You're just not going to brush your hair. You just need to say, this is your hairbrush, brush your hair. Yeah. Like, you don't want to make decisions. So take the decisions away. Take the kids and take them to the park for an hour if they have children. But then some people want their kids nearby and are so anxious something's going to happen to them. They don't want you to take them to the park. So that's what I'm trying to say. It's really hard you have to kind of read who that friend is and what they like. And please check in on the dads. Yeah. Please check in on the dads, because they are going through all of this, watching a car crash basically happen in front of them. They're not in the car crash, but they're watching the car crash, and their loved ones are in the car crash. They haven't been able to stop the truck that's just crashed into them. They knew it was going to happen because they could see it happening in front of them, and they still couldn't stop it from happening. And these dads innately provide and protect. That is what they are created to do, born to do, and that is what their wiring goes back to, unfortunately, in their depths of grief. So they don't know how to protect. They don't know how to provide. They don't want to have to go back to work and provide because they want to be at home to protect. They're in a real conflicting state. And I think sometimes they can be overlooked because they look okay. Yeah. And they look like they're coping. And those first 6 months, I really feel like men don't deal with it. Yeah. So they might be acting like everything's fine. And you might think, oh, he seems all right. That's a bit weird. Why is he okay? Why is he okay? Yeah. It hasn't hit him yet. Yeah. Whereas women, obviously, we've been through the physical trauma, the hormones, the milk coming in. You know, we are physically going through it. So our emotions, and we're probably more outward naturally. We come out, we talk out, you know, we grieve outwardly. And those first 6 months is very different between a man and a woman. But please just check in on dads, just a text.
This is something that I thought was so incredible about your charity. There are a lot of amazing charities out there that are supporting awareness, campaigning, you know, fundraising for baby loss, miscarriages. But when I was reading Luna's fun story and everything behind what you do, the aftercare and the consideration for the dads is something that I don't see a lot. And interestingly, we did a podcast where myself and a couple of my friends shared our stories about, I had a molar pregnancy, my friend had a miscarriage at 12 weeks, and my other friend had a stillborn. And one of my friends said, you know, I didn't think about my partner at the time. And a year or so later, he turned around and said, well, no one cared about me. And I thought, we don't, do we? We don't necessarily consider it because, like you say, the woman goes through the physical trauma. The woman is like feeling like she's completely lost herself. And sometimes we don't think about the impact on the dad. So the fact that you guys do that and you do things specifically for dads, I think is just insane. It's so amazing to see you do that.
Oh, thank you. And I think it's only really been the last, like, I'd even say like 18 months that we've been really trying to hone in on what can we actually do for them. So our weakness is that we are women. You know, we are women as a small team who are trying to make decisions about what dads want, but we're basing it on the feedback that we've seen over the last like 7 or 8 years and the trends that we see as well, and how neglected they are, how forgotten they are. And they are currently difficult to reach because I know that they need the help. They say they want the events. We put on the events. Not many come to the events, so we can't get the numbers to be able to support them.
Right.
But if they did come, they'd love it.
Yeah.
So we're in that kind of crux at the minute where we're really still trying to navigate how we can best reach them. So what we've decided is to go through couples. So what you tend to find is that the woman will drag them there to pottery painting, to wreath making, to a Nando's and Spinners night. And then when they're there, they will naturally obviously talk to the men. And then they will realise, oh, they're not all a bunch of weirdos who are going to sit and sing Kumbaya and talk about our babies. Like, it's actually all right. He's quite cool. He works in, you know, IT or something, and so do I. So we have a common interest. So I think that's going to be our approach for probably the next 6 months of trialling more couples events and allowing the relationships to happen naturally rather than dragging dad on a Friday night to come to an event he doesn't really want to be at. He has to pay for parking. He has to get to the event. He has to sit with some other weird guys he doesn't know. That's in his mind of what he thinks it's going to be like. He's less likely to be able to come. So I think for us, we're learning how to navigate that. But it is so important because, you know, when you're going through your own grief, I considered Luna's dad at the time because he was physically there. But then when he went to work and I was at home a lot on my own in my own thoughts, when he came home, it was like I felt like I was a bit of a burden because I've been at home, you know, remunerating in my wallowing in self-pity, you know, as the Grinch would say. Like I felt like pure crap. Whereas he'd had distraction all day. So he'd had to put on a front, he'd had to put on a mask, he'd had conversation. And then coming home to me, you know, wasn't probably the most exciting part of his day because I was feeling like I was just going to break down. And he was a comfort blanket for me, you know, going through that. And I feel like I was a trigger for him going through that as well. So it's really difficult in relationships to navigate that. And I think that's where men and women need more help. I think we need more help in understanding each other because men and women do grieve differently. Women are there to, you know, have families and nurture and look after. So when they feel their duty hasn't been done, coupled with the man who's meant to provide and protect and support, there can be like resentment. Yeah. You know, why is he not crying? He doesn't even care. Like he does care, but he's processing it in a totally different way to you. His brain isn't wired the same as yours. But when you're in it, you take it all very personally. And that's where a lot of relationships break down. You know, unfortunately, you know, myself, Emma and Maddie at Luna's Fund, all of our relationships broke down. We're all with new partners now. And it's a very common theme I see in baby loss. I'd probably say 60 to 70% of couples do break down of what we've seen. And it's really stark to see that. And we kind of know why as well. Like we're kind of seeing the patterns now of like, oh, this is why. Maybe if the man was more supported from the hospital all the way through, he would be able to communicate better about how he's feeling or have an outlet for how he's feeling, which then means that their relationship could probably be brighter together. They can communicate better. Emotionally, they can kind of work out, you know, this is how I felt going through labour, or this is how I felt after, you know, I felt like you didn't care. Well, of course I cared, but I had to go to work and you got 6 months off. I only got 2 weeks off. Yeah. You know, there's so many differences that actually it's not really anyone's fault. It's just one of those things that's happened due to lack of support.
I also think just in general, men and women deal with things differently, don't they? Like it's always, I feel like women are straight away in the feelings and then the men need the time to process and stuff. And also it probably is that taboo of not talking about it and keep calm and carry on still a little bit with men. So to hear that you are trying to change that and it could save relationships is just, it's life changing, isn't it? if people want your help and support, where can they go to find the information and to get referred?
Yep. So first place would be our website, which is lunasfund.com. Second place, social media. So we're on all of the social media. God, I'm even on TikTok now.
Oh, I love a bit of TikTok.
Yeah, so we're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn. We are fully online. If you Google us as well, we should come up in kind of the top 5.
I've said it before, but I think like you are changing the game for so many families in terms of the grief around baby loss. I think a lot of charities are focused on that first point of grief and they're doing amazing work. But, to hear that you have a service that can come into someone's home and redecorate a nursery when someone is in the depths of their grief, that you offer support because, like you said, baby loss and miscarriage, it doesn't just steal that child from you. It then goes on to steal the joy of another pregnancy and the anxiety and the stress that the mum and the dad go through when they're pregnant. Is this going to happen again? Is everything okay? So to offer them a service later down the line to help alleviate that stress, it's just amazing. You mentioned that you do like spinners nights and Nando's nights. So what sort of events can people get involved in like that?
Yep. So we have a support group as well on Facebook, which is a closed support group. So it's for local families that, we've helped and supported. So people are obviously welcome to join that group as well. So the events that we've been looking at is, so we've just partnered with Nando's at the Barcode at Plymouth. So we asked them, what is it that we can do here? And they were like, look, we can host your events. So we want to do those separate kind of events and have those touch points as well throughout the year, where if people are too in the depths of their grief, they can just kind of see it online and see like, okay, maybe I'll build myself up to go to one of them in the future, one of those events in the future. And when people are feeling ready, they might be like, right, let's do a couples night. Like, I feel like I just want to see adults. I don't want to see any kids or pregnant people. I just want to see adults. Yeah. So let's go and see adults who was like myself, who'd lost their first child. And then we have families days. We just had our Cornwall families days 2 Sundays ago. And that was so wholesome. That was for the whole family, the grandparents, the aunties, the uncles, the siblings. And we just like flew kites and we did like a sandcastle competition. And we just, again, do really light kind of wholesome day events. Like, it doesn't have to be heavy and we're not really morbid and we're not sat around singing Kumbaya at the fire. We just want people to get involved when they can and when they feel ready. It doesn't have to be straight away. It can be in a year's time or 18 months time or 2 years. It can be when you've gone on and had another child and you feel like you're then able to. But doing different touch points, so doing things around Baby Loss Awareness Week in October, having yoga events for mums, having couples events and doing things that are exciting and fun and an activity. We find that people don't want to just sit around a room and talk about feelings. Let's do an activity. Conversations will happen anyway. Yeah. Let's just get people out of their homes and in person, because that in-person connection, you can have as much online as you like, but that in-person connection is where change happens. That is where you meet your people.
It's unmatched, isn't it? So just sign me up for it all. Let's organise a family day. Let's organise a walk. I would be more than happy to come and do some yoga classes, fitness classes in the Bay. You can come to the gym. We can set up an event.
You were sent to me. Thanks, Luna.
Yeah, literally everything. We'll do it. And I'm pretty sure we've probably got loads of contacts for restaurants and cafes and stuff that would get involved locally with putting on things. So everybody, come on, DM. Let's get it sorted. We will obviously include all of the details for Luna's Fund in the show notes, how to access the charity, how to get referred, where the events are going to be, the links to the social media. Do you guys have like a rolling Just Giving page or GoFundMe page?
Yes, we do. Yeah, so it's on Enthuse. So they are the London Marathon partner. So we're with Enthuse, and that's going all the time, so people can donate at any
Amazing.
time.
So please donate generously as well. Are you looking for someone to run the marathon for you, or?
So we have a ballot open at the minute. Yeah. Ooh. So we secured one place.
Okay.
They're very stingent. I managed to get into a charity ballot where we got one place, which is brilliant. So we have our own mini Luna's Fund ballot going on until I think next Thursday for people to enter our mini ballots. We have 15 people in there at the minute, and we're just going to draw someone at random on a spin the wheel.
Cool. So if you do want to do the London Marathon, which was one of the best experiences of my life, guys, so definitely do it, then maybe let's run it for Luna's Fund. That would be insane. Thank you so much for sharing your story and for explaining all about the amazing work that you do. I hope you're really proud of yourself, because it is insane the difference you are making to so many families. And yeah, I mean, let's just take a little moment for Luna and the amazing impact she is having on so many families. We do have a little tradition on the pod before we go, where we ask a guest to bring their own baby photo or child photo in. So can you flash the mini Aimee at the camera? I think it's camera number one. Camera number one. There she is. Look at those cheeks. Oh,
Luna did have similar cheeks. She was very much like me. She was like gingery haired, like she looked really fair, and had a bit of a chin on her, and she was all chubby.
Gorgeous babe.
Yeah.
So we ask our guests, now that you're older and you look back at that photo of your younger self, if you could go back and say anything, what would you say to yourself?
You are enough. Yeah, you are enough. I felt for my whole childhood years, I did not feel like I was pretty enough, tall enough, kind enough, sweet enough, thin enough, fat enough, big enough, strong enough. I just felt like I was never enough. I could never quite fit in. Self-diagnosed myself with ADHD probably 2 years ago.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah, and that's why I feel like I get with ADHD feel much better than normal. Yeah. And realised that, it's not me, it's my brain.
Yeah, it's the dopamine.
Yeah, and I am okay, and I am enough, and I am doing good things, and good things happen to people, like, yes, bad things happen, but actually I deserve good things to happen to me now. I'm enough. I'm strong enough. I'll find the answers. I'll find a way. You have got this.
I love that. That is amazing. They do say, if you're a bit spiritual, that people I love that. People who are a little bit neurospicy, when they find their purpose within a job, something that like really gives them the dopamine hit, that they become so successful because the passion behind it is like on another level. So
yes, I found
this is like mine, this is yours. So
brilliant.
I know that it's going to go on to do amazing things. So congratulations on such an amazing project.
Thank you.
So please get donated, and any local businesses who want to get involved, please contact Luna's Fund. We need to build this community in the Bay because it is doing such amazing things in Plymouth, and we need to make sure that the families that are local to us here in the Bay are getting the same amazing support. So please get involved. We are definitely going to be announcing some events now, because now my ADHD brain is like, we need to do this, we need to do this, we need to do this. I think it would be really important to share this episode, because what I love about the charity is that you are so positive, because it can be doom and gloom. But to be able to give families hope and to give them a service that can really help them process this grief and support them through it is so important. I'm sure that most of us know someone who has been affected by baby loss, miscarriage, child loss. So please spread the message. Like, subscribe, give us a little review. We are on YouTube, Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And follow Luna's Fund, because we need to grow this even bigger than it already is. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Leanne. It's been amazing. Thank you so much. Honestly, it's such a privilege.
Thanks for watching, guys.